What's going on, guys? Brian Moore, Arsenal Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, with our yoga instructor here, one of our yoga instructors here, Coach Titus.
What's up, guys?
Talking about some of the misconceptions about practicing yoga in conjunction with the martial arts, and just generally misconceptions about yoga, I guess. And I can use myself as a litmus test because I had a ton of them. So let's see, what's the biggest one? What's the biggest one I had? Yoga is only for women.
For women.
Yes, that's one. That yoga was only for women, particularly when my wife started practicing it.
Right.
And I liked that she was doing it, she was enjoying it, but it didn't really resonate. I think that's something for her.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a common thing for guys to think that?
I think that it is, even as a guy who is flexible and who is young. Most of my friends weren't into yoga. They still aren't to this day. I'm trying to get them in right now. But you're not going to see, first of all, you're not going to see in the yoga studios, many of them, with men in it at all. So that's not going to be a reason for a guy to go to studio to see himself in the space. I do think that most women in general are more flexible, which is what yoga is seen to be. But yoga, of course, is not just flexibility. It is strength. It is being aware of your breath and your body in general. So unfortunately, a misconception is that when you see yoga, you think flexibility, you think women, you think leggings, you think all that kind of stuff.
That's definitely true. I did think pastel colors too.
Pastel colors.
A lot of pastel colors. Let's see, what's another one I had? That you have to be like super vegetarian, vegan, kind of crunchy. I guess the crunchy is the best way to try it. Like a hippie type. Bohemian type person, and
in touch with your feelings and your body and stuff.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. And again, most men aren't in that space at all.
Right.
You don't have to be. Like I said, yoga is a very, very broad concept, a very broad practice, and you can touch onto the physical part, the spiritual part, the mental part as well. I want to, of course, bring the physical part to the studio, but there are different areas different areas to focus on the practice as well.
Like for what? Like what do you mean? Because that probably goes into my third question, which is like the perception was that yoga is one thing, like it's one size sort of fits all. That it's you're in the hot yoga room, which we're in the like you see on TV and the characterizations like a guy in like a white diaper or something like that.
Okay.
Or like some sort of guru-looking person.
Oh yes, the
guru, right? The guru who's just pouring sweat in this room and with incense burning.
Like
and it's like that. And my body, I'm pretty flexible for a guy my size, but I don't bend that way, and I'm not so sure I want to.
Okay. I do believe though that because we are all human bodies, we all have human bodies, whether it's male, female, old or young, we have potential to expand and to make space.
That's true.
So whether or not we are 60 years old and haven't moved for 20 years, or if we're in the fitness area, if we're at a desk, if we're in the military, whatever we're doing, I feel like because we have a body, that body was designed to move and to make space and to be strong in as well. So I feel like in those spaces, no matter who we are, having a body by itself is enough to get into yoga.
So another one is you're always looking, in particular as martial arts, we're always looking for ways to get better at our martial art.
Sure.
And a lot of that is through drilling, it's through weightlifting, the perception is to just become stronger.
Okay.
Or become faster. And strength we usually typically associate with
Bulking. The big muscles.
Yeah,
chest,
big muscles,
arms, that kind of thing.
The sort of bodybuilder-esque narrative.
Okay.
And you don't necessarily associate yoga with giving you sort of those attributes or enhanced strength or speed. That's one I had. Is that true? Can you get stronger as a function of a yoga practice?
Well, I think yes, in two ways. Stronger in terms of certain muscle elements, certain muscle areas, and stronger in terms of what I want to use, stamina, and being able to sustain yourself for a long period of times. Most exercises, it's either purely cardio, or purely strength training. Yoga is unique in that it can exercise both your stamina, your respiratory system, and your strength as well. In terms of strength, though, particularly, there's not a big focus, I won't say specifically on the big muscle groups, but because yoga is so geared around balance, around your core, around being able to move your joints in space uniquely and specifically, yoga gives people who are into jiu-jitsu, into martial arts, into any other physical arena, the ability to have more space, to be able to have more flexibility, to be able to control where their foot goes, how it turns, how their arm extends up and out and around, how their core adjusts and moves around in space, and you're going to be able to find a bit more awareness and control over your body as you get on the mat and do certain things as well.
That's a great point, because in jiu-jitsu and martial arts, it's unique in that we're always having to be well aware of our weight distribution, where we're putting our weight, how we're interacting with our opponent,
right?
Changing angles. And so I actually just started doing jiu-jitsu. I mean, sorry, not jiu-jitsu.
Hopefully not.
No, I didn't start just doing jiu-jitsu. That was like 16, 17 years ago. But yoga, I've taken a few classes, and even in the few classes I've taken, I do feel a greater awareness of where I am, like particularly when I'm into some of the uncomfortable positions that we get into, more really deep squatted positions and things like that, and how to distribute my weight. So I'm slowly feeling that out and seeing that. So.
And I think that's really the biggest thing that I've been telling my client that I have right now. I've used the word awareness probably every testing that I've had within the past 2 weeks. Being aware of your body and being aware of what your body can and can't do, what muscles are available for you, the space that the muscles can move into. That awareness is something that will be, I think, really key, just as a human, but even more so as a jiu-jitsu practitioner, to be knowledgeable and to be cognizant of what your muscles in your feet, in your hips, in your core, not just this core, but the core here, the core back here, the core over here, all this to make up your core as well. And knowing that is something that because yoga is so centered on awareness, we, in our practices, in our sessions, we cue and key and we bring awareness to the body. And that's the focus almost. Not just the strength or the movement, but okay, what's happening here and why? What do you feel and why? What's going on and why? And then being able to develop it and expand it as well.
So if all that said, so that's a lot.
I'm not full.
That's a lot of information.
Yeah.
I didn't take notes. But
it's there.
It's okay. Oh yeah, we got it on tape. But so in your practice, and you mentioned there are different types of yoga practice.
Sure.
And being here at Arsenal, we got a lot of guys here who are into jiu-jitsu, into the fighting arts, combat arts,
okay,
and as well as fitness and men and women who are interested in all the different aspects.
Mm-hmm. How
is you brought here a little different than, say, what you were going to get at the more traditional, even stereotypical one?
Well, you're gonna still get what I'm gonna bring here, there. There's one or two major yoga types. There's hatha and there's vinyasa. Hatha is more of the find a pose, stay in a pose, breathe in a pose. You feel it, you be in it, you wusa, whatever, and that's cool. And you may do maybe 15 poses or so in a whole session. Vinyasa is more of a breath movement type of flow, where you're changing postures more often. There's more respiratory going on, there's more breathing going on, there's more moving going on. And I personally prefer the vinyasa style than the hatha style myself, and that is definitely going to be more of an interest to this space in this area for sure too. With that in mind, those two, particularly the hatha and the vinyasa, vinyasa brings more strength, it brings more movement, it finds more space. It still has the awareness a piece to it too, but it's not going to be as static at all.
Cool.
Now, static postures can build strength, but for me, what I prefer and what I want to bring is a moving fluidity awareness that vinyasa brings too.
Okay, so this could even be like almost like a strength training.
It very well can.
Okay, so it's definitely a strength, but it's less. Would you say it's less abusive than, say, going to the gym?
Absolutely.
Lifting just heavy weights?
And that's one of the things that as I was becoming an instructor and getting certified, there's exercises that are Western and Eastern. Most Eastern exercises, particularly yoga, is not going to be damaging to your body, and it's focusing on the whole body. Every posture every posture will have an awareness piece from the foot to the head.
That's what's up.
Most exercises focusing on a muscle or something like that. But in yoga, every muscle, every body part, every area has some kind of awareness brought into it that you're not going to get in other exercises at all.
So that's actually an excellent point, because in jiu-jitsu we have, like, you almost need to take a day off in between yoga, in between jiu-jitsu sessions, let your body heal a little bit.
Yep.
But if you, I could see you inputting yoga in between those days of training, and being able to basically train all week long, keep constantly rejuvenating your body, learning the skills, learning the self-defense, and at the same time getting better strength, better awareness, all those things in a full routine that doesn't get dull.
Definitely.
So, I appreciate it, man. So you're here now, so you're teaching on...
I've got classes, I believe we mentioned a Monday morning, 6 a.m.
Monday morning, 6 a.m.
And a Friday, 4 o'clock, I think.
4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
far?
Yep, so far. So you've got 2 opportunities to train with Coach Titus. You got 1 opportunity to train with Coach Delisa, and she's here on Thursdays at 5:30. And then, of course, it's 5 days a week. You can come get this jiu-jitsu here at Arsenal Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu right here in Huntsville. So I appreciate you coming through, answering the question.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate
for the space.
You now know what it is: yoga, jiu-jitsu, submission grappling. It's all here for you. You can train any day you want, all the time, for life, for self-defense. You know, we're here for you. So
we got you.
We'll see you on the mats.
All right.
Later.
Peace.